telling your story, because only you can tell that story. I remember when I couldn't say $150. I remember those days. But what is it like to take a story and then turn it into a struggle? That's poverty. Man, to be honest, I really want to go back to bed. Anyway, what's going on, guys? This is Antoine. I'm gonna just keep it real with y'all. It's a struggle getting up at 4:30 and somebody knocking on your door talking about, hey man, we gotta film something. This is crazy right now. A lot of y'all probably feel the same way. You know what? We're not even gonna go there. I'm not even gonna say what I really wanna say. I'm just gonna stick to the script. We're gonna keep it real. We're gonna keep it hot. And we're gonna get after it. Some of y'all, like myself, even right now, still struggling. Like I'm struggling to even do this video right now. It's crazy. And I'm not even gonna say it, but I'm gonna say it. Some of y'all are still struggling with the same thing you've been struggling with for a long time. And it ain't working. It's just not working. I've done what you doing right now for a long time. I struggle to not only stop listening to all these podcasts, but go do the thing that the podcast told me to do. Don't be sitting here all day listening to me talk about a bunch of stuff. But I think I can help you just a little bit. Some of y'all are still stuck. You're not struggling anymore. You just stuck. I know what it's like to struggle and then just be stuck. Like no help, no change, like no growth, no anything. And so I think there may be a small way out of this. I can tell you that even for myself, like in this computer that's going off and on over here.
No, it never. No, I tried.
It's all good. That's my son. Like his computer's struggling right now, which is crazy. So look, I'm gonna keep it real, because we gotta answer this question. Why are you still struggling? I understand, but sometimes struggling can lead to a greater outcome. I remember this kid that I met growing up, come from Anderson, Indiana.
I heard something.
Yeah.
Those crack plugins.
Oh, I think I know why, because I have that.
Where did you find this big 17-inch MacBook, man?
Mom gave it
That
to
is
me.
probably because of that.
No, it was, this thing is massive.
It was a hand-me-down.
Take that upstairs. Put it underneath the couch. Look, let me keep it real. Some of you guys, even including myself sometimes, still struggling with the same things we've been struggling with. I remember growing up and there was this kid who looked like he was struggling. Ashy knees, like ashy around the mouth. Naya, I'm not talking to you. Look, I'm gonna just keep it real with y'all. I know exactly what you're feeling. I'm still struggling with some things too. I'm still stuck in some areas. But I remember growing up, and what I was really inspired by was this kid that I knew growing up who come from a really hard background, sleeping on the floor with all of his siblings, mom on dope and crack, cocaine and all that stuff, and then migrating to a whole nother state to where when you got to really know him, you couldn't really tell they was struggling. Like I can tell by the clothes he wore, like the high water clothes, and like he used to come over our house and eat all the time. And I mean, just living blissful. Like nothing was even wrong. Even though we was kind of struggling together, I'm like, dude, like, what is going on here? Like, how are you still been able to make it? You're still smiling. You're still like living a life, even though we live in the hood, we live in the projects right now. A lot of you don't even, actually, a lot of y'all remember what you used to grow up like. You remember going over to your grandmama's house, living in the trailer parks, living in the hood, living in the ghetto, living in the third ward if you're from Houston or Louisiana area. And y'all remember what it's like to struggle. Here was the key to struggling back then is we didn't know we were struggling. We didn't know we was having it hard. We just knew that like, hey, we ate a little bit here and I got like 3 shirts over here. But little long, that kid I'm talking about was me. Like, I didn't know I was struggling. Like, even when my mom was like doing this, I didn't know. I couldn't tell the difference. But what happened whenever I got older and started to understand that the struggle is real is when it becomes real to your life, when you get stuck in it. There's nothing like struggling and then being stuck, like you can't do anything. Like that's just a way of life. And so for many of us, including y'all, the struggle is real, but it doesn't have to be. I would say if the struggle is real, then make it real life. Make it your story instead of just like you struggling through things. And that's what I really would change the word into. It's not that you're struggling, it's like you're building your story. Like you're struggling to go from one chapter to the next, from one page to the next. And I think some of us need to turn a page on what we used to struggle with or where we used to be stuck with. The Bible says a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. When you stuck, you don't know which way to go. It's like being stuck like, hey, do I go this way? Or like, hey, do I go do this? Like, you don't know. You're struggling on direction. Some of us are struggling on addiction. Some of us are struggling on what we're going to do and go where with whoever and go to school, all these things that in reality, if you see it right, can be your next key to being successful is by telling your story, because only you can tell that story. We can take every struggle you've ever had, whatever you struggle with, and turn it into a story. But what is it like to take a story and then turn it into a struggle? That's poverty. It's living in that story. But even myself right now, like, look, I'm trying to build a tech company right now. I'm struggling on like, okay, where do I put money? Where do I hire people at? Where do I get the capital? How do I raise funds for this? But the more and more I think like, hey, this is a part of my story. This is my journey when I didn't have $150,000. I remember when I couldn't say $150. I remember those days. But now there is a new way to tell your story. You're not struggling anymore. You need to stop thinking that you're struggling. You need to stop thinking that you can't make it or you're stuck. You need to figure out what part of the story you're going to tell next. Don't think about where you're at right now. A lot of people are trying to struggle to get out of their jobs and live the life. Like, I'm fortunate. Like, I'm an entrepreneur. I live with my kids most of the time. Like, I'm at home. Me and the mom are still together. That's not what I'm saying. Y'all know what I'm saying. But I'm a stay-at-home dad most of the time. I'm here. My kids are like actually right here right now in the morning. And so for me, even for you, that this life doesn't have to be a struggle. It is what you make it, but it's a part of your story. There's nothing like a story where somebody started here in one place, grew up like this, slept in a car, didn't have anything to eat, bounced from house to house, to now living the life of their dreams. That's a storyline. Don't get stuck in the struggle. Start in the story. I think that sounds good. That sounded good to me. Don't struggle in being stuck, but start in your story. From now to where you're at right now, you're in a story right now. We're watching you. Y'all watching me right now, like live out a story. In the next year, I pray in the next 3 years, like I'm gonna have a $300 million tech company. It's gonna be wild, but I'm gonna show you the story. It's crazy to think that a kid like me who grew up in poverty, who half of his life growing up, who grew up without a father, is now a father. I'm not a struggling father. I'm not trying to see my kids. I'm not trying to be around. Like, I'm in their lives. I could be struggling. I own 2 companies. I could be bouncing around from here and there, but I'm thriving. Like, I've been all over the world. Like, I learned how to take my little struggles, even when I didn't know I was struggling, and turn it into a story. And a lot of you guys, way out of your struggle and being stuck, is to tell a story with where you're at right now. How can you see where you're at right now as like, you know what, this is just a part of my journey. This is a part of my story. You won't see it as being stuck or you're struggling with something. Oh, yeah, I used to smoke. Oh yeah, I used to watch porn. Like, I remember when I was addicted to that and I didn't have any accountability. That was a part of your story because now you're married, now you're faithful. Now you're with one woman. You see the difference in that? Like, what are you gonna do? Who are you gonna become to go to the next level in that character in your story? If you're feeling like you're struggling, if you feel like you're stuck somewhere, One, know that if God be for you, who can be against you? And if he's the one to bear all your burdens and take all your weariness away, if you learn from him, he will teach you how to get unstuck. You need to be reading. You need good friends. My time is up. You heard my producer's time clock go off, even when it went off. Anyway, I love y'all. Y'all keep it real out here. You're not struggling. You're just in the middle of your story. Just remember that. You're not struggling. You're just in the middle of your story. The question is, what will we read next? What will we see next? Holla at your boy. I'll see you guys on the next time. I'll see you guys next time, whatever that means. All right. Why you always trying to get on camera? Nah.
Hi.
All right.